What's up, guys? Riccardo Ammendolia here with episode 8 of the Riccardo Baleia podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and watching this on YouTube. Hopefully, I'm going to get this on all the audio tracks and SoundCloud and iTunes and all that stuff. Before we get started with today's guest, just give you a quick little reminder. Give me a like, give me a subscription. Hit that little bell so you get a notification of the next episode. Now, let's get right to it. Today, we have a special guest, somebody I've known all the way since 2000, a long time, training back in Atlanta, Mr. Rodrigo Comprido Medeiros. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing, folks? I'm glad to be here with you guys today.
All right. So, Comprido, you're in Chicago. We were just talking. It's like, man, the corona, we're in the coronaverse right now. It started to rain and hail and a little bit of snow in Chicago. But outside of the weather, how's things with like this whole coronavirus, where you're living? Like how serious is it? How bad is it affecting your neighborhood? Give me a little bit of info on that.
And I live in the suburbs, right? So here is good because it's not too much people crowded together. So it's not that bad.
Okay.
Like just go buy groceries and stuff like that and come back home. You can go maybe go around the block and stuff. Like you can do a lot of more than that, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, at least here in the United States, nobody's in real quarantine.
Yeah.
It's just holding place, so you can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Still, And man, the thing is, everybody's healthy. All my friends, all my family, and then that's the important thing. Because yes, I'm losing money, you are losing money, everybody on the industry is losing money. Mm-hmm. But these we can figure it out later.
Yeah, for sure.
If you lose a person that we care about, it's nothing we can do.
Absolutely.
So we have to be glad that at this point, at least here with my friends, my family, everybody's doing well. So I'm glad for that.
Nice. Yeah, I just stopped looking at the news. I check once a day in the morning. I just check like the worldwide kind of status just to see what's going on, but I don't want to look at the news. I don't want to see any more negativity. You know what I mean? Has it gotten pretty has there been any like violence or anything like that with this situation? Like I'm in Canada and guys got arrested over toilet paper. Somebody pulled a gun out, and you're near the mean streets of Chicago. What's going on over there? Has it been okay?
As I said, here close to me is all calm. It's all the
nice.
Same, But people freaks out and I actually find out the toilet paper problem.
Yeah.
I see a piece on TV the other day explaining that many people used to go to the toilets outside the house. And that's an industrial toilet paper, and then it's produced by different companies that produce home use toilet paper.
Oh, okay.
And they don't want to ramp up the production because they know this is just for a short period of time.
Yeah.
And toilet paper costs nothing, it's very cheap. So they don't want to ramp up the production. And that's why in some places is a problem with toilet paper, but you can always take a shower.
Yeah, that's right. or you gotta use the bidet like in Brazil. Yeah. Anyways, so enough about the coronavirus. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about your history. It's one thing that I really like to do in this podcast. I've been, getting a lot of legends. Last time I had Shaolin, I had your friend Damian Maya before that. And, you and I kind of go back. First time I got to, be in the room with you training, and we didn't get to roll or anything, but we all kind of went to the same tournament together. Training with different same people was around 2000, and that was a really, really big year in your career. You debuted at 99, and that was huge. So tell me a little bit about your early beginnings of jiu-jitsu and how you got started, and kind of how that scene was, the training and the competitions back then.
So I start when I was 10 years old, training a little bit, did not like. Was a fat guy who used to mount me. I did not like that at all. I quit.
Yeah.
Later, when I was 16, my cousin started training. At this point, all my friends were training. And then my cousin started training, and then he came to me. I was doing kickboxing at the time. My cousin told me, hey, Comprido, Rodrigo, at the time I did not have this nickname.
Yeah.
Hey, Rodrigo, you can come with me to Jujitsu, and then be my training partner. I just starting and stuff. I said, okay, let's do it. But I'm going to keep doing kickboxing. I said, yeah, keep doing kickboxing. 2 months later, I'm doing jiu-jitsu twice a day. And I got the nickname at the academy.
Yeah.
And my life pretty much changed, like I don't think I would be a kickboxing instructor if I keep doing that. And like my first year, I could not compete because at that time is no white belt tournaments.
Okay.
So actually the blue belt was the first belt I really wanna to get because it was the only way to compete. After that, I never want to change belt because I was a competitor, and I always want to go for one more tournament or 2 or 3 more tournaments, and try to get another medal. And then I started competing as a juvenile, 17 years old. I did not start well. My first fight, I was submitted. I think was a good lesson, because then the worst already happened, Baleia. I already went there, I already tapped, so I did not have to fear that anymore. I already messed up that bad. And I kept going, and then at the same time, I was nervous, I was committing mistakes, I was delaying my attacks, all the normal things that every beginner do. And even some people who've been competing for a while still feel a lot of adrenaline, and the adrenaline makes you weird,
Yeah.
But then I like it, and then I keep going and I keep pushing myself. I keep losing and I keep going back, and I keep losing and I keep going back. And then on the end of the year, I finally won my first tournament at juvenile. I won the weight and the open weight, and a week later I went and I competed a tournament on the adult division that I won as well.
Oh, nice.
So, and then start.
Nice.
Start doing well sometimes, bad others, but then I had found myself.
Nice. So, we talk about a little bit about your history, your competitive history. For me, the first year that I kind of caught wind of you was 99. That was your breakout year. I think, did you get your black belt in 99 or 98?
Yes, in 99.
Okay.
In 99.
Yeah, as in you fought at some Brazilian team championship, you fought at some other events in Brazil. Then 99 was the breakout year. That was when I remember being as a fan hearing about you, big win over Mario Sperry. That was huge at the time. And then obviously the absolute title, fastest absolute submission, and still not broken. You broke the record for the fastest submission in the absolute finals against Roleta. Tell me a little bit about that tournament. And you going against Sperry, that was huge at the time because you were a debuting black belt and he was already established legend. He'd already won so many tournaments, ADCC champ, and already World Jiu-Jitsu champ the year before, won the Open against Roleta. So what was it like fighting Sperry? And from what I see on the video, you weren't intimidated. You were going, at least you didn't show it, but you went at him.
I had the moment that I showed.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that tournament in 99. That was a big year for you, for sure.
So that tournament, I went. The configuration of the tournament is different. We used to fight the division first, and then after you fight your division, you could go and register for the open weight. Okay. So I won my first fight, and I lost my second round for Paulo Filho. When I was one advantage or something. So it was a fight that I was not happy with. And I keep annoying the guys the rest of the day to fight. And then later, on the end of the day, was the open weight.
Okay. So
I got the spot. I started to fight. I think I start with Leodal. I think maybe Leodala, and then Renato Ferro, and then when I got to Zé Mário, was a big challenge. It was my first year as a black belt, fighting somebody that inspired me, that I respect a lot. That was a kind of fighter who never give up. you know, and then he had more fights than me that day because he went farther on his division than I did on mine, you know. And man, we start fighting, and I was really focused. I knew that I could do well that day, and then I was doing good. I was holding my own, and then I started to feel that even though he's super strong, super technical, I could get that fight, you know. And then has a moment on the fight that he yells, "Ah!"
Yeah, I remember.
And if you look at that, I was afraid of him. I jumped backwards.
Okay.
You know, so but the moment I airlift, I think with myself, so what the fuck you doing, dude? You are winning this fight. Go back there and fight. So then I touch the floor and I charge. You know. So for a split second, I was really afraid of that man, and I managed to keep fighting. It was a super tough fight, but I felt that I was controlling the fight the whole entire time and winning.
Nice.
So then we went to the final. You just post a video of Roleta and Minotauro. That's the other semifinal. That's an incredible fight.
Yep.
I was actually teaching. I have a sequence of techniques with the double underhook. When somebody passes a double underhook, what you do, what kind of guard you do, the things you can do, and then that's a big sweep that Minotauro does.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was teaching to a friend of mine, privates, that sweep that Pé de Pano and Roleta used to do so well. And then if you look, the grip that Roleta does is like a warm guard grip.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because like everything that we do today is the result of the evolution of something that somebody did before us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so that stuff was already there. Jefferson Moura used to have a nasty warm guard that like Brazilians don't put much names on the things, and that's why.
Yeah.
Terere used to do that really well. He had a name for TT Glide or something like that. You know, TT Glide or whatever.
Yeah, I noticed. I noticed the other day. I was watching a today video, and I'm looking at him putting the lapel, wrapping around the leg, and then I was like, "Shit, I never noticed it before." But you know, it's funny that you mentioned him out of all people. But yeah, you know, go on. Sorry, I don't want to ruin your train of thought.
Because that's the thing. Everything is the result of evolution, you know. And then even I'm not saying that, you know, many times people really think they did something out of the blue and you don't. So why I did that? But Teles just told me something last week. Okay, I'm doing this thing. I not pay too much attention the moment he said that. And then yesterday I was talking with Léo Vieira on the phone, and I said, "Hey Léo, I had an idea. Why we don't do this thing?" And that's exactly what Teles had told me. And I had not realized that I just repeat the same thing to the another person, and I was thinking how clever I am, you know, like, oh, man, I had this idea, man, it's fucking amazing. I'm so smart. And then I stopped for a second. I said, actually, Teles just told me that, you know, like a week ago, you know. But makes sense. It's things that make sense.
Yeah.
So the jiu-jitsu keep moving in a direction that makes sense. After this grip, that is the natural progression, and then is these, you know, whatever. It's always a natural progression.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I went to fight the Roleta, if you see, is a double guard pull, which is very common at the time. That's not a new thing. Is a double guard pull is plan a double guard pull because my coach Magrão, he come to me. I always have strategies and stuff to my opponents. That's how I could make the gap of power, speed, and technique. I had to be strategical. And then he came to me, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to do a footlock." And then he said, "That's fine, but make sure you're only going to attack if you're going to finish him. Don't fake a footlock. Don't put yourself in trouble to go for a footlock." I said, "Okay, got it. I will not put myself in trouble." And I said, "Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to shoot? Do you want to start on top?" I said, "Dude, I'm going to play on top. he's gonna pull guard. You know, I can keep pulling him on top of me, and he put me on top of him, because this thing, as I said, happened at that time too.
Yeah.
I said, I just gonna pull guard with him, and I'm gonna score one advantage. You know, when he pull guard, I'm gonna go to the top, and I'm gonna try to pass his guard. It's a complicated guard, but I used to position really well on that kind of guard. You know, so when I pull guard, we actually end in a position that is almost like an open 50-50. If he crosses his leg, I'm gonna be in a 50-50.
Yep.
And man, I swear that I saw his foot on slow motion with the corner of my eye, you know, like waving. He obviously, the foot did not wave, but for me, that split second took a minute. You know, like it's like you know, when you see on the cartoon when somebody do, you know, that's how I felt. I said, I don't believe that.
It's
and
right
then
there.
I jumped on that thing, and then I went back to the toe hold. What is a old technique when I was young? You know, but was not something that people will be proud to do. You know, so when I did that attack, people said, you know, man, this guy just won the absolute fast submission at the time on the history of World's Finals. Now I lost that for Mike Musumeci, but I still the fast submission on the absolute final. Yeah. So I think we could do that, you know, like it's okay now to do it, because I saw people throwing bottles on the mat when people do footlock. People used to boo. If you go to a footlock, people would boo you on the tournament. The whole tournament, boo, you know, it was bad.
So why do you think that? Why was that though? Why was it that there was that, you know, bad mystique with the footlocks back then? You know, I mean, I always heard that it happened, but I never understood why. You know, was it because? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go finish.
Was it because, like, you know, the judo correlation to jujitsu, and maybe, you know, the leg locks were not really in judo? Was it something? I just can't understand why was it? Because if you look like some old videos of like even Helio Gracie, he's showing ankle locks, he's showing heel hooks with the gi. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm always trying to figure out where the sport, you know, where in the pivotal point of the sport progression did it become taboo, and how some of these changes were made. What's your opinion on
that? I think it's two things. One is, I think early on, probably the biggest opponents of the Jiu-Jitsu or Luta Livre and some kind of variation like that.
Okay.
And then those guys, because they don't use gi, they have less options. So then the foot was very prominent attack for these people. So that's kind of said that low level attack.
Okay.
And then the people who used to do this, or that we say, or we felt that used to do this more, were the people from the suburbs. What is bad in Brazil, like you don't consider the suburbs a good place, you know, like these guys with less technique attacking the foot, you know, is a low level technique, you know, you do that instead to pass the guard, you attack the foot, or, you know, something like that. That was the view, you know, like this.
Okay.
The guy is grosso, you know, a rough guy. He just do that and stuff. But it was common. It's not uncommon. It was common. But becomes acceptable, becomes fashion the moment that somebody did that on the final of the World Championship and won.
Yeah. So you changed the game. You made it to become fashionable. You brought it back into jiu-jitsu.
I did my contribution to allow the development.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's what it is.
So, you know, fast forward a year, you had a lot of other tournaments, you know, going into 2000. That was when, you know, we went to the Pro-Ams, and, you know, you had that 8-man.
2000 Pro-Ams?
Yeah, was it 2000 or 2001?
I think it was after that.
I think it was.
I don't know. I think it was after.
I think it's 2000 December. That's why I'm thinking. I used to think it was
tournament that nobody knows about it.
Oh man, it was such a shame, you know. So amazing when they had
light money. I won my life, you know.
Yeah,
it was a lot of money. I think.
Oh yeah,
I made $5,000 on that tournament.
Well, that tournament at that time was like the ADCC in the United States. It had the best guys: Leo, Shaolin, Tenene, you, Saulo, Jeff Munson, Hoyler, like all the best. Yeah, Shvi was there. Gar Taylor,
what's the name? The guy, Gar Taylor,
Mark
the guy
Robinson,
from ATT, the judo guy, heavyweight.
Oh, Roddy Ferguson.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. Matt Serra was there. It was crazy, and you had an epic match with Saulo in the finals, and you fought Dean Lister that day. You had what was your first match? I can't remember. It was an American.
Travis Fulton can be.
It was Travis. No, it wasn't Travis Fulton, but I'm gonna check the name. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. So that was an awesome tournament, huge open tournament, and then they had
Todd Margulis fight Saulo in the first round, right?
Possibly. I know he was there. And I know Saulo.
He fought Saulo. Saulo tapped him in a bad omoplata.
Yeah, because Philip Smith fought Saulo's second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. And then he fought, I remember that. So anyways, you fought Saulo in the finals. Then later that year, you went back to Worlds, repeated as a champion at Worlds. Did you win? You won Absolute again, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you end up fighting Margarita, and that was Margarita's, that was his kind of breakout year in black belt. Would you say that Margarita was, would you consider him a rival? Because you guys fought a couple times, in your career.
We fought 4 times.
Okay.
I beat him 3 times. I lost 1. I don't consider him my biggest opponent. Margarita is a guy who is. I knew that I will beat him, but I knew it would be hard. I knew, I always knew I was gonna beat him. I never start fighting him thinking that he could beat me. Okay, and then happened one time, and then I can get into what happened on the fight that led me to lose to him.
Sure.
But it was some rivalry because I personally don't like Margarita very much. I don't like him as a person. I think he's an outstanding athlete. Turns out that my game doesn't match for him. But he's one of the most dynamic, most aggressive fighters, and but he personally, I have several things that nothing super bad, but
I get it.
Just not the kind of person I would be hanging out. I treat him nicely when I see him and stuff. And I actually last time I saw him was in São Paulo when Damian fought that maybe 6 or 8 years ago. I not even remember. He's kind of a little bit under the radar.
Yeah.
But the main fight of that tournament, the most important fight, the fight that I think is my best fight, the one that I fought better, and then I could talk about the Pro AM because is a story there too. But
yeah, for sure.
On that tournament, one guy passed out inside the mats, right?
So Laborio's student, right?
He was a Carson Gracie guy, but he was from Ceará, from the northeast of Brazil.
Okay.
So he's not a direct student of Liborio, but he's from Carson Gracie,
Okay.
So the guy was fighting and then he dropped, poof.
I remember hearing
that. People were trying to do CPR on him, and then the Tijuca Tennis Club is really small. There's a lot of people, and then there was no way to remove him from the mats to put him outside. On top of that, the ambulance could not break through because it was cars on both sides were very skinny street.
Yeah.
The ambulance was having a hard time to get there. So what happened is, first of all, I thought he was one of my friends. I saw when it happened, he was fighting with Nogueira, Rogério.
Okay.
And then I thought he was one of my friends, and then I was already nervous. And when I got close, I saw that it wasn't. So I knew the guy, obviously. And then we need to remove him. So what happened is the doctor go on the stretcher and started doing CPR. We pick it up the stretcher, and we carry him outside the Tijuca.
Oh, wow.
You know, I was told that the doctor stopped to the CPR when we pick him up. And
Hope so.
Like, that's not something that we should do. You know?
Yeah.
I even heard that the guy died inside the mats, you know. But at that point, you know, imagining, I'm defending my title, and then like, fuck my title, and somebody dying there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, so, and I knew how serious were, and everybody who was helping there, and then we put outside, and then like it was literally we put outside, and then he stayed outside because the ambulance was not there, and the doctor was doing the stuff, and then they start to asking us to go back inside. As soon as I step in the door, Ring 1, Rodrigo Medeiros and Antônio Schembri.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Me against Nino. You know, and I said, oh, what the heck? And then as you know, I like to make a strategy.
Yeah.
I have none. I have zero. I was not thinking on that. I asked these questions to Siriema several times. I said, you did by purpose to bring the attention back to the tournament, right? And he always, no, why do you think that? Oh, yeah, but maybe, like, he's never really straight.
Yeah.
You know, I still think he did, and I think it was the best thing for the tournament. Man, it was terrible.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we start to fight, so I double leg Nino. I put Nino down, right?
Yep.
As soon as I put Nino down, he crossed my arm. As soon as he crossed my arm, I hop and I jump up, and then he started to come to my back.
Yep.
He started to come to my back. I defend because the same week I had Leo Vieira doing the same shit on me. You know, so I kind of knew more or less what to do. So I managed to get his head and get his leg, and then I eventually got him down again. You know, and then it was crazy, you know, for my guys, for his guys, you know. So it was a crazy fight. I don't think I could keep up with that fight for much longer, you know. So then I went for a bull pass. He turned. I went to his back, but instead to do what I normally would do, that is stop over there and take my time to take the back. And that mistake cost me 2 fights after that, you know, to go too greedy over there. Give me that, but cost me 2 after. I went straight to his arm. When I went to his arm, he rolled me and he landed on my side control, but then I went to the Kimura and then I finished him.
Yeah.
You know, and that was amazing.
Yeah, that was an awesome finish.
Somebody that I respect so much. One of the best fighter ever to step his foot on the mats.
And he had a very creative style of jiu-jitsu. I think that people don't even nowadays, you know, unfortunately, they won't even realize how creative he was. You know, he was an innovator. You know, Gogo Plata was his thing. You know, he was the guy that showed Eddie Bravo. His omoplata game was sick. His open guard was beautiful. You know, and he was very fluid from transition.
Even the roper guard, it was, you know, always high guard, climb and hold the shin and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
So he is a man to defeat. You know.
Yeah, that was a big win.
I passed Nino. Then I was with Sfiha on the same final. You know, Sfiha is my good training partner.
Yeah.
You know, was obviously no way that I would fight a training partner, especially somebody who is that close to me. And I was on the first team, and he was on the second team. We did a fight because it was recorded.
Yeah.
But it was no fight.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a joke. You know,
we
were playing around. Has a moment that I hide behind the referee, and, you know. And then like Sfiha was there. I was on the same final, and then honestly, he had when I fought Sfiha before, he beat me. You know, on the purple belt, he had beat me. You know, like God knows what could happen if I had to fight for real. You know.
Yeah.
But he was super nice, and he gave me the victory. Then I went to the final with Margarida, and I always been a half step ahead of Margarida, you know. I always position in a way that he has to readjust to attack me and stuff. And, you know, I think I beat him by 2 points, but I was never in danger on that fight.
Yeah.
You know? And then that's, man, the best feeling in the world, you know.
And then you ended up, your career lasted a long time. You end up fighting Margarita again. You mentioned you fought him the Worlds the next year, and then you end up fighting him in a tournament in the States too, didn't you?
That one was nice too.
It was in Arizona.
In Arizona, it was a four-man mini tournament. It was me, Macaco, Jorge Patino, Pé de Pano, and Margarida. Margarida beat Pé de Pano. I beat Jorge Patino, and then I beat Margarida. I don't know if that was after. No, that was after. That was after.
Yeah. I remember because I remember you fought him. He beat you the following year, and then I was like, okay, Comprido's gonna get his revenge. And then you guys fought in the States again. It was one of these tournaments that it was in Arizona.
You think that was after he beat me?
I think it was. Yeah, but it was one of those tournaments. Like, there's so many events out there that happened in the past that nobody knows about. Historical matches.
It's a Megaton tournament. Megaton hosts that tournament.
That's right. I think it was the Arizona Open.
And then supposed to be Léo Vieira in the other bracket, but nobody show up.
Yeah.
So he ended getting the prize without really fight.
Didn't him and his brother just have an exhibition fight or something?
Yeah, because nobody they take out the name from the bracket,
Yeah.
But there should be two divisions. One that I was there for, and then the other one that they are there for.
Yeah. So we talked about Margarita a little bit. Who would you say in your time was the guy that, like, in black belt specifically, that was like your rival, the guy that you fought and maybe you won one, lost one, and you really had to focus to beat this guy every time you competed, or you ended up competing against him?
The guy who beat me most is Roger Gracie. He tapped me every single fight we had. Take me a really long time to understand. It'll take me at least 2 fights to understand how he works and to make my mind to how to beat him. And I do have a strategy to beat him.
Okay.
I thought that I would be able to do last time we fought super fight a few years ago on the national tournament. I commit a mistake and I pay for it.
Yeah, but you started off with the takedown, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a mistake. No, you're right. That's a part of the mistake.
Okay, tell me why that was the mistake.
Why I should never had put him down that early on the fight.
That early, okay.
And I was training with people who are not Roger Gracie, right?
Yeah.
So what I was doing is I was letting everybody put me on the close guard to defend myself on the close guard. That's the biggest weapon that Roger has. Like, he's good everywhere.
Yeah.
But I knew the close guard is where the thing gonna happen most likely. So when I get him down, I pull my body, and I'm not making excuses or nothing. I'm really being honest. That's what happened.
Yeah.
When I put him down, I pull my body back a little bit. Because my whole training was every time I get a good position on somebody, I pull my body back and let them to recover close guard to keep going through the close guard.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the moment to run to the half guard and do a few other stuff that I had in mind.
Okay.
And then I let him put me on the close guard. And when that guy started crossing your arm, I had a plan for that actually works. But he did another sweep and a sweep mount. And that was a good fight. It was the first time that I make him go back.
Mm-hmm.
I think he mount, I push him to the half guard. He had a choke, escape. These normally don't happen with Roger. Normally, Roger, he's on your guard. He gets to the side control. He gets to the knee on the belly. He mounts. He submits you. It's very rare you see Roger in one position.
Take a step back. Yeah.
But maybe one day. I have a chance to training with him on his academy. He was super nice with me and stuff.
Nice.
There's no rivalry. There's no obvious rivalry. I really wish to have opportunity to beat him, but there's no bad feelings or nothing. Like Maurição, his father is somebody that I respect so much. That is such a good person, that always support me, and then he tell me that, man, the only time I'm not I'm not with you is when you're against my son. I said,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do the same thing.
Exactly.
So go ahead.
So, we talked a little bit about the pro-ams, and you mentioned they had a bit of a story with the match with Saulo, and then obviously you rematched him, later at Metamoris. But I remember that, at the pro-ams, you guys, I know for sure you'd never fought no gi, right? Had you fought Saulo in the gi before that?
Before that, we fought with gi. He had beat me with gi.
Okay.
On a state tournament. Yeah, we have a fight. He beat me on the state tournament. So then we went to fight no gi. And then what happened is I had an injury on my knee prior to that tournament, right? But I was under control.
Yeah.
So my first fight was not super hard. I managed to go through. I was doing well with Jim. I put him in a couple omoplatas. I did a fake bump sweep, I pretend pretend that I'm tired, and then I attack. Yeah. Jim is Dean is a very, very, very good friend.
Nice.
I even went back there to train him to fight Jean-Jacques after that.
Okay.
We used to be very close. Now we see each other not so much, but we like each other a lot. So last 10 seconds, he went to shoot a single leg, and then I was defending. I was winning the fight, no problem. And then he pulled my leg sideways, and then he put all the pressure in the world the way that my knee could not bend. So at that moment, I knew that I could not fight the next day. The finals were on the next day.
Yeah.
So I hold myself to look like I'm fine. And then I just told the guys, like, Leo already knew that I was hurt. So since he saw that what happened, he knew that I was hurt. And I said, you guys have to take me back to the hotel. Because I think it was on the same spot, right? If I'm not wrong, the arena and then the hotel.
It was really close. Yeah.
You guys have to get me back to the room.
Yeah.
And then one of Jacare's students, Pat
Harvey.
Pat Harvey was a chiropractor. And then he helped me and stuff. And that day I went to the guys and talked with Jacare and Leo and said, Terere, Firra, I said, guys, no way then I can fight tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
I'm out. But the rules of the tournament says if I do not fight, it's $1,000 for second place and $5,000 for the first place.
That's right.
$2,000 was a good money, especially in Brazil,
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I cannot fight. And then they said, look, if you don't fight,
you don't get paid.
Bring somebody else.
Okay.
And they don't get paid. They said, okay, I'm going to go there and they're going to tap. I'm going to just stop the fight, start fight and stop the fight. And then Leo and Jacare said, okay, you do that. But before you do that, you look at us, you ask, and you're going to give you the okay. Deal? Deal. So I start the fight. Like, I was really fucked up, I down on the time to fight. I did just like upper body warming up. I don't want nobody to know that I'm hurt. Like all my teammates knew. You probably knew that I was hurt.
Yeah.
So, and then I start to fight. And then Saulo, many times he tried to pressure you. He likes to start to pressure you a lot. And I don't react well when people start to pressure me, I really want to quit. And then he started to pressure me, and I get pissed, and I went and I put him down. So he bounced and he go back up, and I put him down again. I was really upset with him because he cornered me, And that was 2 minutes into the fight, and it was a 15-minute round, and I never had fought more than 10 minutes in my life. And that's probably that's a lie. I had fought one time 15 minutes with Chito.
Okay. Yeah.
It was an overtime.
Yeah.
15 minutes straight. So I did not know how this will turn. I was injured. I did not want to fight, So what happened is that I start to scan and looking for Jacare and Leo. And then they already knew what I wanted. So they are here. So they say, keep going. And then when I turn, they run around me. We're always on my back.
Yeah.
Stop you if it is a video of that fight, but if every time that the camera catch them, they are on my back. And then every time I look at them and they go, keep going. And then I remember that there was a point that I was on the half guard and my bad knee was up. And if my knee bends like that, I would not be able to stand the position. And then what happened is Saulo started to gas. And then I pass his guard, he recover, but I get to his side control. And then the guys, Comprido, keep going. You do not stop. You keep going.
Yeah.
I still want to stop.
Yeah.
And then the time keep passing, and then 5 minutes, 3 minutes. And then I said, man, 3 minutes, I'm going to finish this shit. We got stood up. And then there was a rule on that tournament. If you're wearing a shirt, the other guy could hold. I was shirt. Saulo had a cotton shirt. So when we stood up, I think I had the 4-0 on him. Maybe 6, maybe 4. I'm not 100% sure. But man, I grabbed that shirt like if I'm holding the lapel of a gi, and then I pushed down to stop him to shoot. He was pretty tired, Like when he finished, his lapel is on his belly button. And then I ended up winning the 5,000, I was super happy. Eugenio, the Cuban, Eugenio Fuentes, I was training with him, and he said, man, and Terere did a very good tournament as well over there. He lost to Shaolin and beat Matt Serra, and he used to be the best student of Eugenio, right? The one Eugenio really likes to. And then Eugenio not even want to talk with Terere. He just said, Comprido, how did you do it? You man, tu é foda. How did you do? How? Like he was so happy. I was so happy. It was a great fight. And then, sometimes somebody has to tell you to keep going, And I consider myself a person, a fighter who knows myself really well. I know really well what I can do and what I can't, but I obviously misjudge what could happen on that day. I don't know what happened with Saulo that day. He gassed.
Okay.
Towards the end of the fight. I don't know why. I don't know I don't know if it's because he thought that he will go roll over me, just smash me like nothing, and then he burned himself, tried to defend himself, but was a pretty good feeling, on that tournament. Like we were talking, how wasn't back in the day, and then like the first tournaments, and I told you there's no white belt tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Another thing too was no gi tournaments. My first no gi tournament ever was ADCC. That's the first time I fought no gi. And
you had not even really trained no gi prior to ADCC 2000.
Like in Brazil, on the summertime, you're training a couple times a week. And that's when you do more self-defense and you do a lot of blocking, like people punching you and stuff. But wasn't with the mind of competing.
Gotcha.
Was more with some kind of self-defense MMA. Vale Tudo at that time had than anything else. And then I had done that fight I had in Atlanta before I got my black belt. That was on the ring. I had the gi and open hand and kicks.
Like Pecration or something, right?
Yeah.
I remember.
But I was wearing a gi. That was the first time I fought something like that. And then like Abu Dhabi, I supposed to be fighting on the 88 division, but they put me to fight on the 99.
Yeah.
So it was not like today that you can go and fight 100 tournaments, before to ADCC.
Would you say that your 99 win over Roleta, or would it be that match over Saulo, or would you say with the match over Nino? In your career, what was your most, that special accomplishment or that match that you were like the most proud of, or the tournament that you were the most proud of winning?
The 99 final, Roleta being a record, first year as a black belt, fast submission, all these things. definitely is the more important. But personally, I think my best fight is the one with Nino, you know, especially because I know who Nino was. You know, not just for the fight, but because what that guy had done with me. And I knew that it would be no easy fight. That, you know, that guy, the advantage I had over Nino is I'm a strategist. Nino is the completely opposite of that. He put stuff on his ear to don't hear people coaching him.
Really?
You know, yeah. He used to do stuff like that, you know. So he liked to go there and fight. And, you know, on my conception, this is wrong. You know, like, he's amazing. I never gonna talk shit about Nino. That guy is a man for the history books. But you cannot just say, I go there, whatever happens, happen. I'm gonna finish him or anyways and stuff. Like, you have to prepare yourself to facing somebody. You know, you cannot just go to battle without know what the other army will bring in. You know, man, you go, okay, I'm really good. I'm Caesar. I'm gonna take my troops with shields and swords, and then come a motherfucker with a machine gun. You know, like, you're not prepared for that.
It's true.
And
you know, Nino, I remember, if I'm not mistaken, he submitted a Shvia at Pan Am's.
He did a chest and armbar Shvia.
That's right. He sat on him and he sat with his legs out.
Yeah.
And it's something like we said, we've never seen anyone do that before.
No,
you know?
it's like, he's the guy who really creates stuff on the like, I did not training with him, so I don't know if that stuff is something that he used to do every day on the academy, or if it's stuff that just happened on the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, like, but Leo Vieira is also somebody who creates stuff on the go, you know, like that somersault that he does.
Yeah.
What happened is that was a mistake. He was on the first Rhodes in 96. He was a brown belt fighting Rodrigo Medeiros. He went to Rodrigo's back, and then when he went to to bear hug Rodrigo from behind, Rodrigo did like a kind of a ponceou, and Leo lost his balance. So he realized he will fall on his back, so he tried to make a bridge. And then when he touched his foot on the floor, he realized that Rodrigo's hip went up, and then he come back and put the hook, you know, or I don't remember if on that fight he come back and put the hook, or if he managed to get Rodrigo to roll and take his back. But that was something that just happened over there, and then the guy knows so much jiu-jitsu that he can, you know, take the lemon and make a lemonade.
That's what I always love to hear about, like, you know, what I want to know about stuff like that. What was planned, or what was on the fly, what was invented in the moment, or what was rehearsed. For me, that's fascinating, because there's so many, you know, moments like your match against Roleta, you know, the movement that Leo does, you know, even the cartwheel passes, all these things, you know, they're amazing. They're game changers, and they really, you know, modify the sport. I want to talk a little bit now about, you know, the training that you would go through, you know, at that time compared to training nowadays. How would you say that, you know, you training in that era, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, you know, that's when you became a world champion. Compare that to today, and what do you think you were doing right or wrong, or if you could go back in time, like, fix, you know what I mean? Like, because nowadays, you know, the younger generation have their own methodology of training. They think you need to do the ABC, a lot of emphasis on drilling. What was your training like back then? Was it, you know, how many classes a day? Can you give me a little bit of insight on that?
I used to do sometimes 2 classes a day, okay? And then on the beginning, it used to be just classes, you know, regular classes.
Yeah.
And then later on...
And then the class is just half-hour warm-up, half-hour technique, like the regular... Yeah, okay.
Regular classes, you know, like... close to big tournaments, you used to have the team training, where they have a bunch of people coming, and then that's a day that is not so much technique, much more training than technique, you know. But that's not something that happens every day. Maybe before the Worlds we have every day, during the year, happens on the weekends, Saturdays, you know, not even all the Saturdays, you know, once a month or something like that. And I always travel a lot to train. You know, I used to go a lot to Espírito Santo, to Vitória, and a lot to São Paulo to train. You know, so, and this create a bond between the guys from those 3 states, and then we travel a lot, and then we be very tight together. You know, Jamelão, myself, Léo, Teles, Demian, Tererê, Léo Negão, you know, like Felipe, Costa, you know, a bunch of people that we used to training together. Esfirra, Múzio, you know, Traven, you know, a bunch of people. So I get a little bit from each coach, you know, even though Jacaré was my coach until purple belt. When I was a purple belt, he moved to Atlanta. And then Magrão, who was already somebody that I look over to a lot because we have the similar body type.
Yeah.
The game, you know, people who knows Magrão, you know Magrão a little bit.
Yeah.
Like my game is Magrão.
Yeah.
You know, copy of Magrão. My style to fight, the way I fight is a lot from him.
And just so if you guys are watching at home, Magrão is Fernando Gurgel, brother of Fábio Gurgel. You know, I got to train with him in 2004 and in 2005 in Búzios and in Rio. And man, the guy's his guard. I'd never felt anything like that before. I remember he elevated me with just I didn't even know what the hell was happening. I thought it was like a magic trick. I was just being lifted in the air because he had long legs. And you mentioned, you know, similar physique and similar style to you. So yeah, just letting you guys know.
But Magrão, he used to compete a lot, but he had a business, he handed over the family business. His father had a company who passed to him. So he was, when Jacaré left, Jacaré gave the academy to Magrão to run, and Magrão was having his business, helping his father, and then running the academy. And then he realized that he has to give full attention to his father business. His father then got a second business, and the father went to the second business. He took the original business, and that's when I've been giving the academy, or forced into the academy. So, but I don't know why we're talking about Magrão. Besides the fact that he's very important to my life, you know, and
you know,
he's an extremely good person, you know.
Yeah.
Extremely nice guy.
So would you say that you got a lot of the, you know, you talk about game planning and coaching strategies. Who would you say kind of influenced you the most on how to kind of develop a lot of that? Would it be Magrão? Would it be, you know, other people?
I would say Magrão. Magrão is always like, it was Peck. You meet Peck too, right?
Yeah.
Peck, man, Peck, I think, is the responsible for the fact that I can't take so much pressure, because when I was a blue belt, man, he used to like to torture me, you know, you know, he did not try to pass my guard. He tried to make me tap on holding my leg next to my shoulder and stretching my other leg, like kind of banana split kind of stuff, but passing, you know. And then I learned how to do little adjustments to release the pressure, and then shoulder pressure. Rony is the other guy with a lot of shoulder pressure. You know, like I have a lot of people who help to mold my game. But Peck and Magrão are people who always, you know, especially Magrão, always said, but like, what are you going to do? How are you going to beat this guy? You know, why you don't do this? Why you don't do that? Like, you think this is going to work? And then, like, I used to like to watch, you know, I used to be much, much better with strategy than I am now. You know, I used to know that the game to every single champion on the tournament, you know, when I was young. Now I don't pay that much more attention, you know.
What do you think about the jiu-jitsu nowadays? You know, I know there's a lot of discussion about like, the old school, the modern jiu-jitsu, but the thing is, you're at all the tournaments. You know, you came from, you know, I call it one of the golden eras of the sport. I love the 90s, that late 90s, early 2000s era of jiu-jitsu. That's my personal favorite to watch. It was a lot looser. It was a lot more action, in my opinion. But you're still at all the tournaments. You have your guys, your coaching, your team. what do you think about the jiu-jitsu now, and what do you think is better or worse with compared to the older days?
Man, we're tending to have this nostalgia from the times that we are active, that we are accomplishing stuff. The kids today are better athletes than we are because the science today is better than the science at that time. They know more technique now because it's more technique to be knowing now than was back on the day. Remember, I was the new generation 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then whoever you think is new generation now will be the old school 20 years ago, and it will be saying, yeah, on my time I used to go there and do this and do that, and that's the way that this and that happened. You know, I think jiu-jitsu is progressing, is developing. Yes, I do not like a bunch of stuff. I think many times people start to play a lot for likes and for attention instead to. I always play to win. You know, I want to win. I don't care. You know, I don't want to look good. I want to be good. I want to, win this stuff, doing whatever I can to win. If it's understanding the rules and use the rules on my favor, if it's with a submission, if it's with an advantage, if it is with points, if it is with the judge decision, if it is because I did my homework and I understand the weakness of my opponent, whatever the case, I want to win. And then the criticism I have is, like, sometimes you have two extremely good fighters. I'm gonna just took two guys as an example, okay? And then not necessarily what I say applies to those guys. Okay. So let's say Cobrinha pass guard better than Rafael Mendes, right? But let's say he passed much better than Rafael Mendes, but Cobrinha cannot pass Rafael Mendes guard. So what happened is you get that stuck fight, where they both try to play on bottom, and they both know that if they go on top, the fight will be lost over there. And then they start to realize it's not just not go to the top. When you're playing guard, it's not just about to sweep, because then you're going to be on top. They only going to go to the top if they can go to the back. And then sometimes I see so much waste of energy to reach a position that you could go much faster, and that this might be just because I'm old and slow.
No,
but I see sometimes the guys move here, and I have to go back there, like almost where he start, like why did you did not went there on the beginning? Why did you have to jump 3 times to go back there?
So it's like you're saying there's more of a battle in the strategy just to end up when you get on top. Not a question of getting on top, but like getting on top past the leg and like leg drag. People are turning that into like a medal battle, and it's taking too long. And I agree with you. I think that
below 73 kilos, below 73 kilos, everybody wants to be on bottom.
Yeah.
Everybody. So it's not even a point to learn a takedown.
Yeah.
The point to learn a takedown is sometimes as you're doing the sweep, both of the guys is standing, and you would be better off if you know how to apply a takedown.
Yes.
But I think jiu-jitsu is nowadays is amazing, is developing. It annoys me this trying to be on the media all the time and challenge and empty challenges, because the challenge it was challenges on my time, but was challenge for people who really did not like each other. It will not just challenge. I will not just talk shit about you just to have people giving us likes or to invite us to fight or to make money. Like these, I don't like. If I don't like you, I don't like you, and then like I don't need to keep talking shit about you. Like if you're a terrible fighter, okay, and then I go there and beat you. If I keep telling you you're a terrible fighter, I'm gonna do this, do that, do this, do that. How good am I? You're terrible. According to me, you are terrible. I go there and I beat you. How good am I?
You don't make yourself look better by doing that. I understand.
I go there, Baleia with it tough. I don't like that. I like hate the guy when you hate the guy.
Yeah.
If you don't okay, is a guy who are gonna fight, are gonna be friends of after or not, you know, and that's the way I see the stuff. But that obviously is working really, really well for a lot of people, you know, and I doubt they will ever listen to my advice on that because it's working for them.
Yeah, I mean, it gets people talking, you know, and it gets attention. So I see both ends of it. You know, it was funny in the last conversation I had with Shaolin. He made a point, and I wanted to hear your perspective on this. And he said he tells the students, and I posted this today. He tells the students, you guys are doing, you chose to do jiu-jitsu in the worst possible time to do jiu-jitsu. And I was like, what? He's like, because there's so much freaking information out there. There's so many videos. There's so many Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, this, that you don't even know what to do anymore. And now you're like confused when you go to class, or maybe you're like not trusting your instructor. But back then it was like you went to your academy, you listened to your instructor, you trusted your instructor, and you did whatever he said, and that was it. What do you think about that statement and what he's saying there?
It's a lot of information. It's a lot of bad information in general, not just in jiu-jitsu, in everything, on news, on coronavirus, on politics, everything is bad news. And then people wants to reinforce their own beliefs, and that they keep spreading that crazy news that come to them, but they believe, and so they send to you. And I see some stuff on the internet that I said, this is just impossible, you know, like stuff that was clear made to become viral, but it was impossible to do in a tournament, or impossible to do in a tournament with somebody on the same level than you. You know, and a lot of not so good, a lot of very good instruction, you know, but a lot of sloppy instruction, a lot of people who talk beauty nicely, but cannot deliver so well on the technique.
Gotcha.
You know, and then try to make things super complex. As an instructor, as a professor, what I want to do is make jiu-jitsu simpler to you, because jiu-jitsu is complex. You know, so if I throw a lot of complex stuff on top of you, man, you're gonna go crazy. You're gonna quit. I have to make as simple as I can. And then, you know, one of the best of all times, maybe the best of all times, is the most simple guy that you ever saw, is Roger Gracie. You know, that dude never did a fancy movement on his life. You know, if he has his life depending on him to do something fancy, he will die. Simple, you know, because that's his style, but very efficient. I have this argument with a million people. Roger is super strong. No, he is not. He knows how to use his body. He's not strong. You know, you get a strong guy, you get Zemario, he's gonna lift him more, like maybe not now, but you know, on his prime, he will lift a much more weight than Roger. Arona will lift a lot of more weight than Roger. The thing with Roger is nothing to do with power and everything to do with technique.
And you felt that. You felt the difference between those guys.
I was talking with Liborio yesterday. He said, Liborio told me he's really strong. He said, no, he's not. And then and that's not try to say talk shit about him. It's actually the opposite. Is he don't need to be, because he's that good. His positionment is super good. When you position well, you don't need to use that much energy. You know, everything he does, he uses just the energy necessary to accomplish that. And then he position his body, he put his body after every single movement. That's why it's so hard to escape him, because all the body is behind, you know, like he's crossing your arm and then he's using the whole body to move. It's not just on the hand, you know. It's like, I'm gonna cross the, he pulled the arm. He's never gonna cross my arm. I'm super stronger. He's never gonna pull my arm. Yeah, he's never gonna pull your arm, because that's not what he does. He pulled the arm, he escaped the hip, he moved his knee, he pushed your back with something, and then he faked this, and he like, it's a whole body motion to achieve this. You know, once he get here, you never go back here. You know, like, I cannot see me, but whole body motion to get this, and then you can never come back.
Yeah. Wow, I never thought of it that way. It's the first thing. That's the first time I've ever heard that too. It's a great analogy. Well, let me ask you something. Best advice that you could give a white belt that, you know, is in this game right now, or maybe even a blue belt, but like somebody new to jiu-jitsu that feels like they're, you know, maybe they're frustrated or feels like they're overwhelmed with all this technique. What's the best advice you can give them?
So first of all, you have to be truthful. Okay, tell the student, the white belt gets to your academy and tell, dude, look, this thing gonna look very, very complex for 6 months. Nothing gonna make sense, you know, because you tell him, never put your leg up, and then next technique you said, put your leg up, and then the guy said, what the fuck this guy is talking about? But that happens that one time the guy was controlling his leg, and the other time the guy wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, and then he cannot understand this, that in jiu-jitsu, a little control, a little thing changes completely the way you have to react, you know? And this takes a long time to understand. For us now it's easy. It's natural. Okay, now I can put my leg up. Now I can't. Now I can control the hip. Now I can. Now I can control the neck. Now I can, you know? So this guy go there, and then with this impression, you know, like the jiu-jitsu is easy, anyone can do, blah, blah. Anyone can do, but it's not easy, especially on the beginning. You have to explain, look, it's hard, but you can do it. And at the time going to pass, you're going to start to understanding much, much better. Everything going to start to make sense. Just trust me for 6 months. You know, understand what I'm trying to do. You don't need to go fancy. You cannot start with a house from the roof. You have to start from the base. Okay? Get your base strong. You know, the one difference that I feel sometimes is between some of the guys, everybody is specializing something, right? But I feeling that maybe on the past, people are maybe more, you know, if they have to play on top, they would play on top. If they have to play half guard, if they have to, whatever situation, they will find out a way. And then today, I feel that the fight is a lot more niche. You know, like they only gonna play in here on this little condition here. If they get off that,
yeah.
And it was people like that on my time too.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel it's a little bit more now. It's like this crazy battle of, I have to put the Riva first. No, he put. Now I keep my butt on the floor. No, he keep his butt on the floor. No, I'm gonna take his back. No, he gonna take my back. Oh my god, you know, like it's, you know. But I keep thinking like the Chip and Dale, you know, like how fucking this shit gonna blow one day, you know, like this guy. But you have to keep improving, keeping developing. That's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. You know, you have karate, you have boxing, you know, even judo. They putting restrictions that stop the development of the creation of new stuff. In jiu-jitsu, every single year, every time is something new. In your academy, you teach something to a student, and then that guy come back making a grip like that, and then he start to developing something from there that you never had thought in your life, and next thing you know, you are using that, you know, and then another set of techniques coming from that control, you know, because the mechanics repeat itself. If something works on this direction, doesn't matter if you're belly up, belly down, sideways, still you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you know. And then once you start to understand that, you can make the guy, you know, somebody who's good in Kimura, he's not good in Kimura on the guard. He's good in Kimura everywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's the mechanics that is important. So once you start to understand the mechanics of everything, makes so much easier. My biggest regret is not paying attention on the physics class when I was on the school, on the high school, and then went to the college. I was there to get my degree, and I did not pay too much attention because I was competing. You know, I started college when I was a purple belt. So when I finished college, I was a two-time world champion. You know, because my college should be finished in 4 years. I did in 6 because I was traveling. I was not really focused on that. And then sometimes I said, "Oh man, I waste so much time not paying attention and on those classes, and now I understand that was fundamental for the understanding of what I do, you know.
Yeah. So it could have helped you even more become maybe a better, instructor, even, the physics, the body mechanics, all these different things. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Well,
Jiu-jitsu is mechanics.
Yeah, that's
it. You understand that thing, the graphics. That's why Roleta was so efficient, because he was an engineer. So that body type, he understood all these concepts of mechanics, so he could come up with stuff, based on the science, and science don't lie, dude.
That's it. Well, listen, Comprido, it's been just over an hour. Man, it was awesome going down, memory lane with you and talking about the old school stuff and some of your biggest wins. Man, I really appreciate it. I highly recommend, if you're watching this, if you want to go visit Comprido and his academy in Chicago. Where can people find you online, on your website, social media? Let everyone know.
If you look at Comprido BJJ on social media in general, you're gonna find me. If you want to go to my YouTube channel, it's really nice, because you're probably going to be the first one to see one of the techniques, because nobody checked my channels. Even though I have some good material over there, I'm terrible promoting. I'm terrible doing whatever has to be done for YouTube to show. I don't know. But I have some good stuff there. If you go put Comprido BJJ on the YouTube, I have a bunch of sequence of videos. I have this sequence that I record with Coach Marcelo. I not even know the name of this guard. Like, we never name it. Yeah. Somebody gonna come and name it when somebody put double unders on you. What's the name to that guard?
I've heard a game like Mantis Guard or something like a long time ago. Like but there's no name. You know what I mean? Like double underhooks guard. What are you gonna say?
I said something like that. And then my son helps me to do stuff, and I said, "What's the name to that thing?" I said, maybe double underhook, sweep when you're bottom." Like, doesn't make much sense,
Yeah.
But it is, and that's a game that people don't use as much today, and is a very efficient game to defend a bunch of other, like the De La Riva hook doesn't happen when you have double underhooks.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people don't use, and it's still very, very efficient for sweep, for submissions,
Absolutely.
So I recommend that you guys to take a look. Maybe you see an old man teach you something that you can mix with some of your new stuff, and create something new.
That's it. Well, I'm going to share your channel on the description of my YouTube channel. So you guys, if you're watching this, just scroll down and go to the link. Go check out Comprido's. Make sure you subscribe. Share his channel if you like his techniques. I'm pretty sure you will, because he knows what he's talking about. He's one of the best to have ever done it. You guys got to remember, this was Buchecha in 99 and 2000. He was the man. He was the absolute king, and winning tournaments all over. So man, it's been awesome talking to you, Comprido. Like I said earlier, it's been great catching up with you. And hopefully once all this thing is over, I get to come out to Chicago and hopefully visit you, and we can get some training in.
Sure. It will be a pleasure to have you here. I have to go to Canada as well. It's a long time. We know each other for so long,
Yeah.
So you're more than welcome anytime, anywhere.
Thank you. On the side note, one funny story for you that personally, so I started to do some work with Flow Grappling, and then out of all the places where Flow Grappling is based out of, where is Ishvia based out of right now?
In Texas.
Austin, Texas, the same city. So Ishvia, I can't get rid of him. Ishvia lived with me for a year here in Canada, and then he moved to the States, and now I have to go sometimes to do some work in Texas, and he's there too. So I'm going to go visit him, hopefully.
Once even more than me, right?
Yeah, well, he's a funny guy. I'm going to go get some barbecue with him. Anyways, Comprido, thanks so much, brother. If you guys are watching, check out his link. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. Do the same for Comprido. See you next time. It'll be episode 9. And once again, hope you guys learned something. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care, guys.
Peace.